So for those of you watching the Jets-Patriots game, New England in the process of wrapping up home field throughout the playoffs, ahead comfortably. Let's take it to Cleveland at Pittsburgh. No quit in Cleveland. Let's join the announcers at that game, Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta.
Rookie Deshaun.
Coming up next, folks, there are 5 more games in our slate of matchups this afternoon. 4 of those games involving the Ravens, Titans, Chargers, and Bills have significant playoff implications on the AFC playoff picture. That comes your way next right here on CBS. And welcome back inside of Studio 43 and the NFL Today update. JB along with Coach Nate Boomer and, of course, Phil Simms. And the AFC playoff picture up to the moment.
All right, a couple things cleared up here, guys. New England and Pittsburgh both win their games. That means they stay in the 1 and 2 seeds. Jacksonville and Kansas City were already there. And, of course, Baltimore wins, they're in. Tennessee wins, they're in. Obviously, the Chargers and the Bills need those 2 teams to lose. Well, the Bills just need Baltimore to lose and the Chargers to lose, and then they'll get in there. Over in the NFC picture, another thing cleared up here for us. Minnesota is locked up to number 2 seed. The Rams could lose and New Orleans win, and they would flip-flop 3 and 4. Carolina obviously playing at Atlanta. Atlanta has to win to get in. If they lose, then Seattle has a chance to get in. So, you know, there's still a lot of things that could be, you know, shaking out here late in the afternoon. But at the very least, we know who 1 and 2 is in both the conferences, and we know the 3 and 4, obviously, in the AFC and how they're locked in.
So for those who are just tuning in now, as we kind of put the playoff picture in focus for you, Bill, let's talk again with New England's victory. They now secure home field throughout. Pittsburgh is number 2.
Yeah, they are number 2. And I was sitting there watching these 2 teams back to forth and watching these 2 teams prepare. They get a bye week. They have to play, respectively, a team before they could potentially meet in the AFC Championship game. But I can't help but watch the New England Patriots and see number 92, that being James Harrison. And, we just watched him late in this game against the Jets. You're going to see right here, he got his playing time he's been asking for right here. He comes in late in the 4th quarter. There he is, the James Harrison strip sack. He follows that up in the very next play. Yeah, another sack. He's got some fresh legs, not a lot of reps in that body this year. And listen, like I talked about before, he's got a chance to play and help that team in terms of getting a pass rush on 3rd down. And like, you know, if these 2 teams can take care of their home field in the first, second round of the playoffs, they could be meeting in the AFC Championship game.
Hey, fresh legs. That's what he had last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end. He came in and he was really a force. And, you know, the pass rush is one thing, but we know what's really important, too, is stopping the run for the New England Patriots. Alan Branch didn't play for him today. That's a big deal with their defense. He'll be back.
Yeah, and we're looking at Tom Brady, a little rusty, is a little off in the beginning of the game, but one guy that we can't count on who had himself a day, Dion Lewis, looks fantastic. He is going to be a game changer in the postseason.
The one thing I will say about the Pittsburgh and the Cleveland game, I was just telling Coach this. The Steelers, they have a winning culture. They can win with backup players at key spots.
Good point.
Cleveland Browns don't. They make a big drop there at the end of the game. They'll hopefully get them a win. And
Cleveland hung in there.
They did.
All right, folks, it's win and in for the Ravens as they host the upset-minded Bengals. That'll be coming your way here on CBS. So that's as we set the stage again for what's coming up later on.
And we also know, JB, that now the Patriots obviously secured number 1, but these 2 teams, Joe Flacco right here, look, you know what? They deserve to be in the playoffs. They've been beaten up on bad teams now for the last couple of weeks. The Bengals showed some heart last week, Phil, beating the Detroit Lions. It's never easy between these 2 teams. Baltimore definitely has that one defense that can go on the road and win.
Yeah, and speaking of defense on the other side, you're going to need a running game, and Alex Collins is just that. This young man is absolutely a beast when he gets the balls in his hands. He is a guy that can actually change the game, so you're looking forward to him doing things.
And that will set up the play-action pass, and if there's one guy that they have as a deep threat, that is Mike Wallace, averaging over 15 yards a catch, 47 catches on the year. This is the deep threat they have that complements that running game in terms of the play-action.
Well, Terrell Suggs, you know, he's gotten his sacks this year. I think he has 11 just off the top of my head. But one of the reasons why they can get sacks and they get turnovers, they have a secondary that can cover. So it gives their defensive line, they don't have like a speed rusher, but since their secondary is so good in coverage, it gives them just that extra beat That's how they get to the
That's right. Well, there is a former defense coordinator of the Ravens before he became the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. 15 years. I would tell you the greatest head coach in Bengal history, given his winning and his longevity. And this could be his last game as the head coach of the Cincinnati
Boomer,
Bengals.
you said it on Inside the NFL. So nice that you put his entire career in perspective in terms of what he's done.
You really have to. Now, you talk about guys that have pressure points. Here's one. This is Blake Bortles. Now, he's going to be under pressure the rest of the way. This would be a huge win for him if he can go down to Tennessee and lead his team to victory.
You know, last week, they score a lot of points. Their defense gets shredded, and everybody said what? Wow, Blake Bortles just fell apart. So it's all on Blake. No matter win or lose, they're going to blame him.
And it's a disappointing year for Harry Mariota. You talk about the pressure being put on the quarterback. He's going to have to do this again today without DeMarco Murray, leaning on Derrick Henry, and talking about Watson, or the tight end right there. And so this is a quarterback, Delaney Walker. And but right now, a lot of it has to do with his feet and be able to make plays. And it's going to be a lot on his shoulders to get this game today.
Yeah, you guys are spot on when it comes to the pressure of these two young quarterbacks. But how do you alleviate pressure? You got a running back that can go out there and do it on all facets of the game. He can run out of the backfield, catch out of the backfield, in between the tackles. This guy right here might be the anchor of this Jacksonville offense.
Well, there's Derrick Henry. He's going to be the guy carrying the mail today, baby, from Marcus Mariota. You know that. Play action passing. You know, the one thing about Mariota, he has to depend on the running game. It's all about play action.
Yeah.
The thing for me, for these young quarterbacks, especially in games like this, especially a home game within the division, man, it comes down to third down. You've got to make the throws on third down.
Yeah, and here's Alan Hearns for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they got to be, you know, happy about last week's game in this respect. Here's another weapon for Blake Bortles. They got behind. You think it's going to be a complete disaster. Blake Bortles found a way, and I know he threw 3 interceptions. He made a lot of big throws that got him back in the game and gave him a chance to win.
And you're talking about a pass rush, second and none. They lead the league in sacks, and led by Calais Campbell, 14.5 on the year. And Ngakwe, the other guy that comes from the other side, they have got a plethora of pass rushers. And I'll tell you what, couple that with those corners, it's one of the best defenses in the National Football League.
And there's Phillip Rivers, forever young. We want to talk about a guy who was trying to put his team on the back. They started off, as we know, trying to play behind the 8-ball most of the season, and then they got hot. This is one of those teams that we've been looking at in the months of November and December, playing really well with those 3 wide receivers.
I will tell you this. Now, for the Chargers to get in, win, Tennessee lose, Buffalo lose, or win, Tennessee lost, and Baltimore win. Now, how about Tyrod Taylor? You know, we've been talking about this guy. This guy's got 9 lives, right? Another opportunity to give his team a chance to win on the road against a very good defensive front in the Miami Dolphins. What has to happen for them to get in? They have to win a Baltimore loss, or they have to win an LA Charger loss and a Tennessee loss. So they're hoping for the Bengals and hoping for themselves.
Yeah, here's Patrick Mahomes, the first-round draft pick. The Chiefs moved up to get him in the draft. We've heard about all the talent. I believe that. But he's in Denver today against a secondary that can really cover.
I can't wait to see him play, though, today.
It's going to be fun to watch him, but he's not going to have the full supporting cast. But he is going to have the starting offensive line, which is a big deal.
So look here, Bill Cowher might smack me on the wrist with this.
Go ahead.
Tyrod Taylor had his team in position until they went out west to experiment with another quarterback, but now they're, again, 9 lives. It might be 10 lives. Go ahead,
And
Bill.
they're going down, and Buffalo's going down there. They're going to be leaning on LaShawn McCoy. He is their bread and butter right there in terms of the running game. And, you know, but again, these are divisional games. You talk about divisional games. They know each other, and so much of that has a lot to do with, you know, throwing the records out the window. And then when you talk about LaShawn McCoy, you talk about the year he's had. And listen, 1,100 yards right there. You talked about before, 10,000 yards on his career. Special player right there.
He is very cold weather ready running back.
No question about that.
But they're happy to be in the
Yes, they are. And there is Sean McDermott, who did make that decision to start Nathan Peterman against the Los Angeles Chargers. That turned into be a disaster. And that may be the one game that comes back to haunt them, because if they are tied with the Chargers would win by virtue of, or go to the playoffs by virtue of the victory over Buffalo. The one thing I will say about Tyrod Taylor is that, and the reason we say the 9 lives of Tyrod Taylor, seems like the last 4 or 5 weeks now we've been talking about him playing and keeping them in the playoffs, when in reality, we all know this. Look, their defense has got to play tough today. They got to get turnovers from Jay Cutler. And I still think the Oakland Raider defense has got significantly better. 30 sacks and 5 interceptions since John Pagano took over.
Speaking of defense, isn't it almost criminal, though? Calais Campbell, as big and as talented as he is, to be playing out there just having fun?
Just having fun, and he's kind of led that defense. And you see everybody behind him, the linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks, they're all following his lead. Big-time free agent.
And if Tennessee can win this game, guess where they go next week? To Jacksonville for the 3rd time this year. And remember, Tennessee won this game earlier in the season.
Updates all this afternoon. Stay with us right here on
Who's
CBS.
got to do those? That would be me.
Is on the other end here, taking you to bonus coverage. A big game for Keenan Allen. 3 touchdown passes by Phillip Rivers. 30-10 the final. For Rich Gannon and Amanda Balionis, Kevin Harlan saying so long. Let's go to JB in New York.
All right, Kevin, thank you so much. And we take you now to that bonus coverage. Jacksonville at Tennessee. The Titans holding to a 5-point lead with 1:56 left in regulation. A Tennessee win, and it will secure its playoff berth. Let's join the announcers there. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Jenny Erdahl.
Those long team Jacksonville 10 coming up. Bonus coverage Bengals and Ravens for Trent and Jamie. Greg Gumbel, so long from Nashville. Happy New Year, everyone, including you, JB, in New York.
All right, Greg, and Happy New Year to you as well. So Baltimore trying to do what Tennessee has done and secure its postseason berth, nursing a 3-point lead, 7:24 and counting in regulation. Let's join Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn.
Shoot on for
Buffalo wins 22-16. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
And thank you so very much. Congratulations to Buffalo, but they're waiting to see if Baltimore is going to hold to this 3-point lead. 2:31 left in regulation. That over Cincinnati. Let's join Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn.
2:30.
Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and people who are making a difference in America. That'll be followed by SWAT and SEAL Team. That's tonight, only CBS. As we welcome you back to our New York studio and the NFL today, I'm James Brown along with Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer. Let's take a look at the postseason TV schedule as it stands now.
Well, here you go, JB. Buffalo and Jacksonville will be right here on CBS Sunday at 1 o'clock. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN will be Tennessee at Kansas City. Over in the NFC, you'll see Atlanta and the LA Rams. That will be Saturday night at 8:15 Eastern time. And on Sunday, Carolina at New Orleans, Sunday at 4:30 on Fox. All I can say is what a wild ride it has been for the Buffalo Bills.
It really has. When you think about that, the first time in the playoffs since '99, having to go down to Jacksonville and possibly without Shady McCoy, that could be a tall task, which could possibly lead to a rematch of Jacksonville visiting Pittsburgh.
It's a tall task, but it can happen. You look at Jacksonville, we've seen them very high, but then we've seen them very inconsistent. If they can go in and play a very disciplined game and then count on some mistakes by Jacksonville, they can get the dub.
Look, it's the best thing that could have happened for Jacksonville to get the Buffalo Bills. That's probably their best matchup. And for Buffalo to have a chance, Tyrod Taylor will have to be magnificent.
Right.
Because it's going to be a one-man show, maybe. He'll have to run away from that pass rush, and they're going to have to make some plays in the passing game.
Think of all that Buffalo has been through today. A huge win in Miami today. Then they go into the locker room, watch Cincinnati come all the way back and beat Baltimore, make it into the playoffs.
And congratulations to Jacksonville. First time in the postseason since '07. And a reminder, tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. And again, people who are making a difference in America. That'll be followed by SWAT and SEAL Team. That's all coming your way tonight right here on CBS. Thank you so very much for tuning in, folks. Have a safe and happy New Year. We'll see you next year.